are indicating that they are opposed to, at least at this point, is any kind of fixed automatic withdrawal of U.S. troops. And that will certainly lead to a clash with the democratically controlled Congress, because today you had Senator Carl Levin, who will be the next chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, saying what the administration needs to do is send a clear message to the Iraqis that the U.S. commitment in that country is not open-ended. And he says he will be pushing for a phased withdrawal of U.S. troops sometime within 4 to 6 months from now. The administration's position to date has been they believe any kind of premature withdrawal would lead to a security vacuum in that country. Well, that's why not only Democrats, but the administration, everyone is looking toward the Iraq study group to see what kind of conclusions, what kind of proposals they come up with in terms of how to change course in Iraq. The president and his national security team will be sitting down with this group tomorrow, but they will not be making their final recommendations. That's not expected till another month from now. That's the latest from the White House. Back to you, Rita.
Jeannie, thanks so much. And now that the Democrats have control, there's no doubt we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in Washington. But what does that mean for the incoming freshman class? With me now is Democratic strategist and MSNBC political analyst Flavia Coleman. Flavia, what do you see, first of all, as the key Democratic goals, Flavia Coleman, for this Democratic class?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, not only because it's the most critical issue, but also because the voters said is Iraq. I think that the Democrats will have to really change course in Iraq and try to come up with a way that we can bring our men and women home safely and out of harm's way. I think, secondly, an increase in the minimum wage. Of course, that was a big issue in a number of states on the ballot and during the campaign season. Americans deserve and want to be paid a living wage. Energy policies that aren't big giveaways to big oil, healthcare accessibility. I mean, there's a really long list, Rita.
What do the Dems need to do, Flavia, to hold on to the so-called angry independents that we've heard a lot about?
I didn't know they were so angry, but maybe they are.
That's what they say.
I think that it's a combination of substance and style. From a substantive standpoint, I think they have to go after issues that have widespread support, like a change in course in Iraq and like an increase in minimum wage, which has like 80% approval or something across the country. It's unreal. And I think stylistically what they have to do is really just be straight talkers and don't try to pander or score political points. I think that independents can smell that from a mile away and they don't like it. So I think that this campaign season, you saw Democrats, not trying to quote scripture or find a way to get in touch with religious voters, but just speak their values. And guess what? A lot of them voted for them anyway. So I think that's what independents like.
Nancy Pelosi talked about her plan, Flavia, for the first 100 hours, not 100 days. Stem cell research, talked about taxes, some of the things you brought up. Are the Democrats being too ambitious too soon?
I don't know. I don't know if there's such a thing. My dad always used to tell me growing up that, I know this sounds cheesy, but that you should reach for the sky because if you miss, at least you'll be among the stars. So I find it very encouraging that the Democrats are so optimistic and so ambitious. Who better to be ambitious for than getting things done for the American public? If they don't get it all done, I think most of us understand that there's only so much you can do.
And what do you say about all those poll numbers that, the American public believes there's going to be so much bickering, maybe nothing will get done?
Well, I think that if politicians care about self-preservation, and I have a pretty good hunch they do, whoever wants to win in 2008 better get something done, because the American public, including myself, have had just about enough of a do-nothing Congress. So if I were giving advice to the Democrats, which I am, I would say to them, look, be known as the party who's the do-something party, who doesn't stand around pointing fingers and wasting time with partisan bickering, but decides, you know what, we've got a lot of work to do in this country, and we're going to get to work. And I like what Mirtha said, 5 days a week, baby.
Hey, we work 7 days a week. Come on, they're getting some time off.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Flavia. We appreciate it. Well, like father, like son, have you noticed President George W. Bush is turning to his father's former advisors for help in the war in Iraq? A closer look at the men being called off the bench and going to bat for Bush 43 now.
MSNBC is proud to bring you television's most honored political news program, Meet the Press with Tim Russell, next on MSNBC. Monday.
And what they're saying.
Rita, according to London's Sunday Observer newspaper in a phone conversation on Friday, Tony Blair urged President Bush to consider regionalizing efforts to find peace in Iraq, to look at bringing Iran and Syria into the process. That would be an about-face in Bush administration policy, which currently views both countries as adversaries rather than allies on the issue of Iraq. Both countries have been accused of meddling and even supporting the insurgency. Now, for months, President Bush has talked of staying the course in Iraq, but there's growing pressure to consider new strategies, and more so in light of the results of last Tuesday's midterm elections. And Tony Blair faces similar pressures here, with 125 soldiers killed in Iraq and at least 4 of them alone today in Basra. There's increasing opposition to the war. It's considered one reason why Blair's Labour Party is 7 points down on the Conservative Party in the most recent polls. Blair's already moved ahead unilaterally on this new strategy, sending his senior foreign policy advisor to Syria last month for talks, Rita.
Ned, thanks so much. And tomorrow morning, the voices that the president listens to on the subject of Iraq will be very different than in the past. NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell has a look at exactly who's being heard at the White House now.
After 6 years of rejecting advice from members of his father's foreign policy team, the president is now calling them off the bench. Former Secretary of State James Baker to craft an exit strategy from Iraq. His father's CIA director, Bob Gates, to replace Don Rumsfeld at the Pentagon. The president and Gates first met to discuss the job only a week ago.
It took me a while to be able to sit down and visit with him, and I did, and I found him to be of like mind.
A remarkable turnaround. Less than 3 months ago, the president bristled when Brian Williams asked if he was seeking his father's advice.
He understands what it means to be president. He understands oftentimes I have information that he doesn't have.
There have been tensions. Gates, who had dinner with the president's father in Texas, has been sharply critical of the way the Pentagon has run the war. So has Gates' mentor, Brent Scowcroft, the first President Bush's national security advisor, who was banned from this White House for opposing the Iraq war.
W. and Karl Rove came into office wanting to use the father as a reverse playbook, and their whole foreign policy is a rebuke to the father's foreign policy.
Colin Powell, more comfortable with Bush 1 than Bush 2, was forced out as Secretary of State. But the war didn't go as planned, so the president is reverting to his father's foreign policy team. More pragmatic, less ideological.
I think it's the end of the kind of missionary spirit of George W. Bush and the resurgence of the calm kind of stability arguments of George Herbert Walker Bush.
As the president turns to his father's advisors, the question now is, can they still create a democratic Iraq, or is it too late?
I doubt any combination of persons can turn it around in a sense that it's going to produce some startling success, or as the president keeps saying, victory.
Officials say their best hope is to stabilize Iraq and call it a success. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
Thanks, Andrea, and thanks for watching MSNBC on this Sunday. I'm Rita Cosby, everybody. We're going to have more news throughout the evening, so don't touch that dial. But first, stay tuned for NBC's Meet the Press, the exclusive interview with Senator John McCain. Also, Joseph Lieberman as well. Some great fiery interviews with Tim Russert. Make sure you do not touch the dial. That's coming up right after the break. Everybody have a great and terrific Sunday.
NBC News, now on iTunes.
Feeling that big cold all over your body? In total cold relief. With new Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid, a new Alka-Seltzer Plus that speeds relief to every inch of you. For big relief, fast. New Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid liquidates your big cold all over. Also available in liquid gel and effervescent.
Are you a homeowner with a first mortgage, second mortgage, auto loans, student loans, or credit card debt? Or would you like to consolidate your debts into one low monthly payment? Just call or log on to ditech.com and refinance to a low fixed rate with a lender you can trust. With Ditech, you can feel confident that you're being taken care of every step of the way. Call us now at 1-800-71-FIXED or log on to ditech.com, a GMAC company.
I'm thinking of a number between 450 and 850. Do you know what it is? It's my credit score, and it happens to be 720. The higher my credit score, the better chance I have of saving a lot of money. Do you know your credit score? Do you know what's in your credit report? You can find out right now at freecreditreport.com. You can even print it out if you want to. How much easier could it get? Log on to freecreditreport.com. That's freecreditreport.com.
Free credit report offer applies with enrollment in Triple Advantage.
My girlfriend and I were talking about osteoporosis, and she told me she has to set aside time one morning every week to take her osteoporosis pill. I said, I take once monthly Boniva. It fits my routine. And she said, that I can do. Boniva helps build strong, healthy bones to prevent fractures with just one pill a month. With all I do for bone health, Boniva fits right in. Unlike weekly treatments, I only need Boniva once a month. No wonder 2 out of 3 women preferred the dosing of Boniva over a weekly treatment.
You should not take Boniva if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or cannot sit or stand for at least 60 minutes. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Boniva and tell your doctor if you experience difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
Ask your doctor if Boniva is right for you. My girlfriend is so glad she did.
Once monthly Boniva. Ask your doctor for a free trial offer or call 1-800-4-BONIVA.
Monday, President Bush prepares for a crucial meeting with the Iraq Study Group. What lessons can the administration learn that could change the war's direction? Countdown, MSNBC Monday at 8.
From NBC News in Washington.